evening. Welcome to the Local Live. I'm Maura Carlin. It's August 9th, and we are live from Amerenik Avenue's block party, the Summer on the Avenue. You may or may not know that Larchmont and Amerenik are home to many of the best of Westchester 2018. And tonight we are featuring 3 local winners. And my first guest, sorry about that folks, is Ashley Corsello of DeCara Makeup at Salon Posh, who has been working miracles and magic on me, and she's going to finish her makeup as we speak. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us. I know you want to finish what you're doing to me.
Absolutely.
But tell me a little about your services while you work on me. Come on over.
Problem. Wonderful.
Tell me what service you were named best makeup, wedding makeup, and it was a reader's choice.
Yes.
What does that mean? Like, how do they pick a reader's choice?
So the Reader's Choice is voted online. So I am actually just blotting you a little bit because it's a little warm out.
Okay.
And yes, it's a huge honor. Honestly, it was super unexpected, and it's just been amazing.
So when you say they vote online, people actually had to write in your name. It wasn't a drop-down menu.
Exactly. There was no drop-down menu. They had to write my name in. So
which is very exciting.
It is very exciting.
You think it's going to be a wonderful thing for your business?
Yes, absolutely. I'm very excited.
Tell us about your business while you finish applying this, because
Absolutely.
you were nominated for weddings,
Yes.
wedding makeup.
Yes.
But you don't just do weddings.
Of course. No, I do any special event makeup. I do anytime anybody wants to feel a little bit better about themselves and wants to come in and get their makeup done, they're more than welcome to do
And let
that.
me tell you, folks, she did an amazing job.
Thank you.
I feel so much better, and even though it's hot out here.
Yes, it is quite
we
hot.
Are, we
Yes.
are melting.
Yes.
So if you want to have your makeup done for a wedding or a special event, do you just make an appointment and come in for that day?
No, certainly not. I would say, I'm sorry, I'm just going to give you a little bit here. I would say it is imperative to call in advance. Sometimes my clients call almost a year in advance.
And there's our county executive saying hi to him. I should mention it, folks. Feel free to come on down and see us at the street fair. We were by the old Payless location. I'm sorry I interrupted you again,
Absolutely.
Ashley.
No, that's totally fine. No, everyone should come in for a makeup trial before their wedding day.
Why
Thank
don't
you.
you sit down?
Wonderful.
And so you would have like a trial run.
Yes, a trial run for sure.
Now, how do you pick the right person to do your makeup?
That's a great question. A lot of times people will use things like the Best of Westchester, Westchester Magazine, and things like The Knot or Wedding Wire to look up makeup artists. I think the best place to start is to see where your budget is, and then reviews, really. Reviews are a great way to know if a makeup artist really knows what they're doing.
Should you be looking for somebody whose makeup you admire, or should you look through their lookbook?
I think a better representation is the lookbook. Oftentimes, I'd like to say don't judge a book by their cover, but a lookbook is a great way to kind of figure out if their kind of makeup is for you.
Now, do you have any special tips on what one would want to do for makeup for their wedding? Like, is that the time to try something new?
Not
look?
on your wedding day. I don't suggest to try anything new. I do suggest to try and go for a timeless look. However, I do respect that everyone has their individual look in mind for their wedding day, and that's great. But a timeless look, a very clean look, nothing too trendy for their wedding day.
Do you also do things like if someone wants to, let's say, cover a tattoo?
Yes.
Does that happen a lot?
Yes, it does. It does happen a lot. A lot of times women will pick dresses that show a tattoo that they just don't want shown on their wedding day, even if they might like their tattoo. They like to have it covered, and we do offer that service. Yes.
It seems like it's become almost, I don't want to say required, but far more common for people to have their makeup done before a wedding and to have the whole bridal party's makeup done.
Sure.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah, it is. And again, weddings are very individualized, and some brides choose to just have themselves done. But most of the time it's bride and bridal party and parents and even sometimes guests that are coming from out of town. Sure. Yeah, if they need their hair and makeup done, they need someone that knows someone.
And do bridal parties tend to have all the same makeup, or do you still individualize it?
Oftentimes I do ask the bride if she has some type of preference, but I think everyone tends to pick something that they like.
Now, it's like 90 degrees out tonight. It will be 90 degrees this weekend when someone could be very well getting married. Do you have any special tips for summer makeup?
Sure. A big thing when it's really warm out is that the skin looks a little bit oily after you've had your makeup done, so always bring blot powder.
And is that what you were applying on me?
That's exactly what I was applying on you. A
Okay.
translucent blot powder is the best way to go to keep from your face looking too shiny.
Okay. Anything else are there certain kinds of makeups you should use or you shouldn't use?
Yeah, I think that you should look for a makeup that doesn't have any flashback. So HD makeup is great, although photographers nowadays are doing a great job with that. That's the best way to go.
So how long have you had your company?
My company is very new. I have been in this industry for several years, and I decided to open up my own company last November.
And have you been at Salon Posh the whole time?
I have been with Salon Posh the whole time.
And what
yes.
services are there?
At Salon Posh, it's a full-service hair salon. I do everything that has to do with makeup. That includes eyelash extensions or eyelash tinting. And the salon offers haircuts, hair color, all of those things.
And you offer your services there, but you also travel, right?
Yes, I travel anywhere. I love to be in Westchester and Fairfield County because they're nice and close, but we travel anywhere. Yeah.
Of course, I lost my train of thought. I have to tell everyone, there's an adorable dog being photographed, and that kind of caught my eye and distracted me. I want to talk to you about eyelashes.
Sure.
What are the trends? I mean, you hear about tinting, fake eyelashes, extensions. Is that all in? Do you pick one or the other, and do they last?
You have many options.
And by the way, I'm loving the fake eyelashes, everyone.
Thank you. Your eyelashes are individual lashes that are made for the occasion. So those will last you probably 24 hours. You might even be able to wear them to breakfast if you want. In individual eyelash extensions are something that lasts 2.5 weeks. You need to go when you get them filled, but those are more permanent. A lot of times brides do get permanent eyelashes.
To last through the honeymoon?
Exactly. So, but these are great for bridal party, people that are attending the wedding that just want to look great in pictures.
Do brides ever come in and say, I want my makeup done like a Kardashian or some other celebrity?
Yes. And you have to take that with a grain of salt because sometimes the skin tones don't really match, or the face shape, or you kind of have to find out what it is that they want, like that celebrity.
What would you like the viewers in Larchmont and Mamaroneck to know about your business?
That we are super friendly and we love to tailor things to each client. So come on in anytime.
Why don't you give everyone your contact information, your email, you can give the salon address, and a phone number.
Okay, great. The email is info@dakaramakeup.com, which is like the website, www.dakaramakeup.com. And Dakara is spelled D-E-C-A-R-A. Phone number is 203-569-3285. And I'm located inside of Salon Posh, right in front of the harbor here in Mamaroneck, 516 West Boston Post Road.
Ashley, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the makeup. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We have more coming up, but we also want to remind our viewers of the HD petition, which is really important if you want to see us in HD and better quality for our station. You can sign your name in support, visit lmctv.org, and search HD petition to get the Verizon Fios and Optimum to give the community a better picture, the high definition channels we deserve. We'll have our next guest coming up to talk about her business, which she's on her way in. tell you that we met 3 years ago when she first started this business. So it's particularly interesting to me to see here it is 3 years later, and she will be 3 years later, and she's already a best of Westchester, which is really such an interesting perspective. So Toby Kundid is the owner and founder of Tovami Yoga, which is also, it's kind of interesting, all three of our guests tonight have their businesses on Boston Post Road, albeit two in Mamaroneck and one in Larchmont. So Salon Posh is in Mamaroneck. Tovami Yoga is right nearby in Mamaroneck, and our third guest, the restaurant, is also Boston Post Road, but that's in Larchmont. So Toby, thank you for joining us. And as I was saying, I first met you about 3 years ago. You had first opened Tovami Yoga, and I think even you had just moved to this area.
I didn't actually.
Oh, you didn't?
I
Okay.
had been here for a little while, but I am newer to the area. My husband's been here his whole life, but I
Okay.
have been here for a bit.
But here you are, such a short time later, and you are a Best of Westchester Reader's Choice Yoga Studio.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
It means that we're doing our job right, I think. It means that we're doing exactly what I was hoping we would do, which is to build the community that I personally was longing for. And I knew that if I was longing for it, that others were too.
So what is that community that you were looking for?
The community is, well, because it's a yoga studio, of course it's going to be a community of like-minded people within the yoga community, but it's a community of people that are trying to grow, emotionally, physically, foundationally, and so, and they're, we like to have fun, we like to laugh, we take life seriously, but we also understand that life has its foibles, and that's why we do this practice.
Remind us why yoga is good for us, and it's not just exercise,
No.
is it?
No. So yoga is good it's an interesting practice because it doesn't matter if you come to the mat just because you want a physical practice. There will something in you will change by the practice. It's a very old practice, and there's many different kinds. There's devotional focuses, there's very, very physical focuses, but it is a mind-body connection that helps us to become more who we are when we practice this. So, and that's why we do it. That's why more and more people are coming to it. Given the amount of stress that people are under, the amount of things that we're all having to manage on a day-to-day basis. The big joke in life is you just don't get to do one thing. You have to do everything, and you have to do everything well. And so then you come into a yoga class and you get led into a peaceful and maybe not always peaceful, but like a physical practice that helps to quiet the body, the neurological system. It helps to quiet the body, and then you can kind of restart with a different focus.
A lot of people think of yoga as being for flexible bodies. Is that right? So explain, because the people in the front of the room are always what I call pretzels.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a pretzel. So I'm flexible, but I'll tell you that I have found over this practice that the more flexible you are, the more you get injured. So actually, the less flexible you are, the better equipped you are to handle a yoga class, because you understand your limitations a little bit better. The body doesn't really lie, so oftentimes a very flexible person also is a very flexible person in their mind, and they'll overdo it because they're trying to be very, very flexible. Somebody that's not so flexible will be a little bit more rigid and be a little bit more like, I'm going to hold back and I'm going to learn. And I find that they actually do better. And so it's really not for one kind of type of body at all.
Can you become more flexible physically
Yes.
at any stage of your life?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I've had people come into the studio at 60, decided they wanted to start a practice because they want that, and they are gaining many benefits from it.
And what if you have trouble quieting your mind?
That is everybody's problem.
So it is.
It is. We joke around, we call it monkey brain. And one of the hardest poses, so you see the t-shirts all the time that says, I'll see you in Shavasana. Right, because everybody thinks that's the best because they're sleeping. But actually, if you really understand yoga, you find out that Shavasana is actually the hardest pose.
Well, isn't that where your mind is wandering the most?
Yes, exactly. And so when you get into that space where your mind is wandering, it's very, very difficult to quiet it. And what we teach ourselves in this practice is that the things come, they always come, but we let them go. It's how we engage with them, right? So that's kind of the life lessons. It's how we engage and how we disengage. And that is very, very potent for our life in general.
You've had your studio in the same location for the whole time.
Yes.
Staying there?
I am staying there and I am expanding.
You are?
Yes. So we have one half of the upstairs there at 112 West Boston Post Road, and now there's a whole other side. So now we're going to have 2 studios, a full lobby, and a treatment room. So we're going to have a much bigger space for much more community to come in.
What are the different kinds of classes you offer, and how does one know what is the right class for them?
Oftentimes they give me a call or give somebody a call. Not always me, yeah, anybody. But it depends a lot on what they want to do. We have classes that are very quiet and they're called restorative, where you're sitting in poses for a long period of time in a single pose and just breathing into the pose and then changing.
And what's the benefit of that?
It is all about your neurological system. It's all about slowing things down and quieting the body and getting out of the fight or flight mode that we tend to be in. Oftentimes people that are very type A don't love that kind of practice because it's very hard to sit for that long. There's other practices that are, and I'm sorry, I'm type A too, but the vinyasa classes have got more movement. They're more physically taxing. There's different levels. We have yin, where it's a long stretching. We have kids classes.
Oh
yes.
Teen classes, or do teens go to adult classes? Or
there's a sweet spot where the teens no longer want to go to the kids classes and they go to the adult classes.
Okay.
But we teach from 4 years old all the way. We have up to teens and tweens. And then when the teens get to a place they want to go, they go to adult classes with their parents.
And then do you have octogenarian classes for the 80-year-olds?
We don't, no.
They're in the regular classes?
They're in the regular classes when they can hack it. We do have a stairway, so we do have to be cognizant of that depending. So
you have to have some physical ability
you
to
have
get
to,
there.
Yes. But we do partner also locally. So we partnered up, the reason we have such a great kids program is we partnered up with the Budding Buddhas kids yoga and mindfulness program, and we helped each other to grow the program there. We also have another partner who gives prenatal yoga in her studio. Her name is Dee Yurgo, and she is with Prana Yoga and Meditation. She won the best instructor of Westchester.
Okay.
So and besides being our own community, we try to grow the community.
You do some yoga on the beach also.
We do. We're with the Village of Mamaroneck. We have a program with them, so we do beach yoga on Sunday mornings and Wednesday evenings. And that's lovely. And we do a community class with the Westchester Parks Foundation.
Okay,
so
wow.
This is our 3rd annual. So we started right away when we first opened up. And we get about 100 to 200 people that come to those yoga events.
Wow.
It's 100% free to the public, and it's all Tovami yoga instructors.
Wow. Well, before we go, tell everyone how they can find your studio and find you.
Okay.
Ask any questions.
Sure. We are at 112 West Boston Post Road, which is right down here. We're right above Artistry, which is a lovely place as well. You can get a hold of us on our website, which is www.tovamiyoga.com, as well as you can email us at info@tovamiyoga.com and call us. That's fashion. That's very old-fashioned.
Very old-fashioned. Thank you so much, Toby, for joining us, Tovami Yoga.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to move on to Movies on the Sound. We'll be screening Disney's Up next Friday, August 17th at dusk. See, we do have a crowd here. You can come on down. Let me try this again. Movies on the Sound. We'll be screening Disney's Up next Friday, August 17th at dusk at the Stephen E. Johnston Beach at Harbor Island. Bring a blanket, a lawn chair, and snacks, and enjoy the movie under the stars. And of course, mark your calendars for March 17th, 2019. We're on this street, Mamaroneck Avenue, the 8th annual Sounds Tour St. Patrick's Day Parade. Again, we were talking about that already. The St. Patrick's Day Parade will be held. That's March 17th of next year. Well, we've covered beauty and wellness, and now it's time for food. So our next guest is Lenny Baldamai. Did I get that right? Okay, I've been practicing. Lenny Baldamai, and your restaurant, Lenny's Seafood and Steakhouse, which is on Boston Post Road in Larchmont.
Yes.
It won, it was a very interesting category, no pretense upscale dining.
Yep.
What does that mean to you? Because I assume that's the vibe you're going for.
It's true. Well, it means a lot to us, you know, when you go all for it. Quality, service, environment. It's an honor to have that as an owner of a restaurant with our staff, family members that we work so hard for it. And when you get honors and stuff like that, it makes you feel good.
But there's no pretense. I assume it's casual but elegant. Is that?
It's neat, casual, but elegant, that families could come enjoy the time together, business people, meetings, private parties. We have private wine rooms.
Okay. Is the food just steak and seafood, or is there a broader range?
So no, the food, it's an Italian seafood and steakhouse.
It's Italian.
Italian steakhouse, because we own it Castello and Mamaroneck.
Right. That's just on the other side of the train tracks from where we are.
And so when the location of Lenny's became available in Larchmont, we partnered with a couple of guys that worked for Wolfgang's in New York, so we got in Italian and steaks together, and it worked perfect. And then we just opened our second location in Armonk.
In Armonk.
Lenny's North Seafood and Steakhouse.
So the one in Larchmont, how long has it been open?
The place in Larchmont has been open actually 3 years last week.
And this is your first time winning.
Yes, this is one of our first time Westchester Best.
So that's pretty
exciting. We've been
exciting.
reviewed on New York Times, where we were excellent rated, and Westchester magazines and different sites. But Best of Westchester, this is our first time. It feels very good and special.
It must.
Yes.
Are there particular dishes that you recommend?
Well, you go to Lenny's. Steaks are prime aged meat. We buy them from a private farm in Texas. They have a Long Island base. They age them 21 days. We get them 8 days in the house. We have very good high-end stoves, special for meats. Then fish. We get all kind of different type fish, but meat it's our focus. But the Italian dishes, don't let it fool you, are excellent. We have very good chefs online.
Do you get any of the same dishes that you can get at Il Castello over at Lenny's?
Some we do, not a lot, but and then again, if you go at Lenny's in Larchmont and something you want, and we are very family oriented to please customers, locals, customers that they brought us here, we'll make it.
Do you find that your customers from Il Castello go to Lenny's and vice versa, or they tend to be a separate group?
No, they do.
We
have a big number of clients that knew us from Castello. They go to Lenny's. Now they go to Armonk. It's a 25-minute circle, so and people have from different areas, so they go everywhere.
They go everywhere.
Yeah.
What's so special about having a restaurants in Larchmont and Mamaroneck? Because there are quite a number of them.
Well, this area definitely could support fine restaurants, quality, service. You provide, you do well. I've been in restaurant business since 2001. Mm-hmm. Done very, very well.
And you've stayed.
And all of it comes with hard work.
Well, I'm supposed to ask you this, because I'm a vegetarian. What would you recommend at Lenny's?
You go to Lenny's, they'll make you vegetarian dish, anything you like. We have an excellent different kind of vegetables, which we have side orders, but they will make mix of vegetables and anything you want. Dish of a pasta with different way. So we will make a vegetarian dish.
Now, in this day of everyone having their own requirements, me being vegetarian, the gluten-free, the paleo, does it drive a restaurateur crazy, or are there ways to accommodate it?
Not really. I mean, when you have a restaurant, you open those doors, you are to please people. Just like you have a family, you want to take care of your family.
Right.
So that's what restaurant is. If you look at that way, if you're there to please, if you're there to provide, nothing bothers you.
That's a very interesting perspective
really
on
doesn't.
it.
And that's where we intend to provide to our clients, and that's where we train our staff and our managers. They make sure they keep that in the house.
I find it interesting, this is what I was trying to get to before, is that there are so many restaurants in this area. I mean, just look at Mamaroneck Avenue. And yet there seems to be room for everyone.
You're right.
Well,
it's a big population, and we all know Westchester County is Westchester County. I know when I opened my first restaurant in 2001, a lot of clients, they would say, oh, I have to drive to New York City to this particular restaurant, or I have to drive to this steakhouse, or I have to drive to that steakhouse. Where now we get people and they say, not only to us, I'm sure to other restaurants, that people say we don't have to drive anymore.
so
We have a steakhouse in Larchmont. People say we don't drive no more to Peter
Right.
Luger's. In Armonk, people say they don't drive to White Plains no more. So there is always locals, and if you provide good food, you do well.
Well, that's great. Congratulations on being a Best of Westchester and
Thank you.
continued success with the restaurants. I'm going to let you tell everyone, actually, before we go, where your restaurants are and how to get in contact.
Well, we have Il Castello in Mamaroneck,
Okay.
914-777-2200. Lenny's in Larchmont, Boston Post Road, 914-630-7800. And Lenny's North in Armonk at 914-273-8686.
Okay. Lenny, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me. You guys are great.
Thank you. I
Provide
hope
to
you guys were
locals.
watching it in the restaurant.
Everybody is.
And we have one more guest coming, I'm told. While we wait for our guest, let me remind everyone that you can contribute to the community mural. It's a nonprofit. LMC TV relies on viewers' participation to fund some of our extra programming and equipment. $200 for a tile on the mural, and it goes directly to LMC TV. And the names of individual and group donors will be displayed along with the mural, which will be painted by Jamie Lynn, local artist and owner of Made Art Studio. And our next guest is Dave.
David Zucker from Dave's Cast of Characters.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
How you doing?
Tell us about Dave's cast of characters.
Right, well, I'm based in New Rochelle. I've been in business over 30 years. We've been doing the street festival for, I would say, about 10 years or so. And we do everything in entertainment.
So if I'm having, a TV show and I want Beauty and the Beast to show up, is that you
we
the one
have
to
over
call?
200 characters, every superhero, every princess, every character. We have all the rides, and we've been all over. We've actually performed all over the world, believe it or not, yeah.
What kinds of performances?
Well, for the King of Morocco, for the King's daughter, they flew me and my crew there to have the whole gang of Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Pluto to perform for the King's daughter. We were there for a week. It was an incredible experience, yeah. We do a lot of corporate events, celebrities, and just regular mom and dads in Westchester.
So what are you doing on the avenue?
All the rides that are from that end of the block to the very end, it's filled with all rides and amusements that's supplied by
That's
us.
what you do. So if somebody wanted, to have a street fair.
Street fair, backyard
What
birthday
parties?
party, magicians, clowns, DJs, casinos, lookalikes, pretty much everything in entertainment.
What characters do you play?
I try to stay in shape so I can still play superheroes. I play a lot of we have exotic cars where Spider-Man or Batman can pull up in a Lamborghini. I have different Lamborghinis that I have to do personally.
Okay.
So I do all of those. We do a lot of Jedi training and I'll play a Jedi with Star Wars with all the other characters. But I mean, you can literally have 20 characters at a party and make it come to life right out of a movie. But
Is that really?
yeah, I play Goofy. I play a lot of different characters. You got to be the right height and the right voice for whatever character you're playing. We have over 80 actors in our company and over 120 ride staff that do this. We do 40 to 60 events every weekend, yeah.
Now, before you mention the actors, I was going to ask, it would seem like great training for actors who also could make some money.
Yeah, we get a lot from the Purchase Conservatory that don't want to wait or that want to actually do acting and performing that we hire. Most are from references, and it's a great way for them to make great money, and it's a flexible schedule. So we're always looking for talent, but they got to have the right look and have talent. If they're a princess, they got to sing live. They
really have to sing live.
They sing live. We bring mics, wireless mics, and we really put on a show. We make Broadway come to life. Yeah.
I didn't realize it. That's so
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the craziest thing you've been asked to do?
Oh, I've had a lot of crazy things. We brought exotic
bringing
animals
Disneyland to Morocco is pretty big.
Yeah, that was it. Well, someone in the city wanted exotic animals. I brought tiger cubs. I've brought elephants to parties. I have connections to bring exotic animals too. I do have 20 robotic animals that we could do robotic animals kids can ride. I actually have my own petting zoo and pony rides too that we do. But we do some high-end parties in the Hamptons, and some of them are so over the top. It's almost every week or every other week we do some crazy parties that are just really unbelievable. Yeah.
So if people want to get in touch with you, who do they call or where do they go?
Yeah. Well, our main number, Dave's Cast of Characters, 914-235-7100, and then you can go to our website and we can have one of our specialists help you plan whatever you like, and we always will work within your budget. You tell us what you want to work with. No party's too small or too big. We do it all.
Dave, thank you so much for stopping by and joining us.
All righty, take care.
And before we sign off for the night, oh, yes, you got to unmic yourself.
I hope that wasn't on camera.
That's okay, it was.
That's what makes live TV.
That's right, it's live. Before we sign off, I do want to mention some of the other Larchmont Mamaroneck winners of the Best of Westchester. In Larchmont, Estelle Gourmet was named Under the Radar Lunch Spot. Some of these are very interesting titles. Cafe La Fondita, right across the street on Mamaroneck Avenue, was named for the best flan. Sal's Pizza, of course, was a reader's pick for food and drink counter service, and that's here on Mamaroneck Avenue as well. We have Le Provençal, also across the street on Mamaroneck Avenue, and it was a reader's pick for classic French restaurant. And for those of you who don't know, it was recently sold to new owners who say they're not yet planning any changes. Smokehouse Tailgate Grill, also on Mamaroneck Avenue across the street, somebody's waving at me, was named Best Barbecue. Village Mercantile on Chatsworth Avenue in Larchmont was named Best Giftables. Carpet Fabrications International in Mamaroneck was named Best Custom Carpets. And Catullus in Mamaroneck was named, and this is a great category, the store for snarky fashionistas, which I thought was a hoot. And I know somebody's trying to get my attention. Do you want to just come in and tell me? Yes, I'm being reminded. I really should say, the one thing we're disappointed in is that there was not a category for Best Public Access Station, because we really believed that LMC TV would win it. I'm required to give that plug, but we really do try to do the best we can with what we've got. Thanks for the reminder, Mike. And that should wrap it up for us here live on Mamaroneck Avenue at the Summer Street Fair. Thank you all for joining us. We'll actually be off next week, so join us in 2 weeks for another edition of The Local Live. For not signing off, I'm Maura Carlin. Good night.